This is the first episode of Nourishing Tips. If you don't know me, I am Melissa Lee. I am a health coach. I help women with PCOS and reproductive health get pregnant, but also, solve their period problems. Let's say if you have irregular periods, if you have painful periods, that sort of thing. Um, so that is me. Very excited to be here. So today I want to be talking about why we actually get PMS and painful cramps. So these are very common symptoms and these are very normal symptoms, right, in our society, but are they actually really normal? So what is common may not be normal, and I just want to point that out because, as women, we grow up and, it's like a thing amongst friends, right? Like everyone has like cramps, or everyone is like so normal to take painkillers every month or actually feel like a crazy person right before your period. And so I just want to let you know that first of all, even though symptoms are common, they may not be normal. And what is normal is basically you go through every period, but you actually don't need to have painkillers to get through them. If your cramps are actually affecting your lifestyle, you can't go to work, you can't get out of bed, that is actually not normal. Like what you want to feel is okay, some little lower back discomfort, a slight discomfort in your abdomen, but nothing crazy that will actually stop you from going to school or stop you from going to work. So first of all, that is not normal. So the research actually, they don't know why we get PMS. This is really surprising, but a lot of doctors and women's health experts think that this is the drop in progesterone and estrogen right in your luteal phase, and perhaps the drop in the hormones actually can trigger certain mood swings and symptoms like PMS. So the bottom line is we don't know what causes PMS, but a lot of women have this, and so we obviously are impacted by this and we want to address it. So, if you have any questions about PMS, or if you have your own experience with PMS, I would love to know. Just put it in the comments below. And also, if you have experience with painful cramps, which I'm going to be talking about next, put it in the comments below. So, another symptom that I want to talk about today is painful cramps, which is also known as dysmenorrhea. And so there are two types of dysmenorrhea. One is primary and one is secondary. So primary is basically when you have pain before periods and during your periods where you feel a lot of discomfort and you feel bloated. And that is the pain before your period. That is basically primary dysmenorrhea. Secondary dysmenorrhea is basically pointing to a bigger root cause. For example, if you have uterine fibroids or if you have endometriosis, those are like the really, really painful periods and cramping that you might feel, and that will most likely be affecting your ability to work or actually go to school or anything like that. So I will be talking mostly about primary dysmenorrhea right now. So it's usually the pain before you feel your period and during your period. So hi Lucia, hi Dora, nice to see you. Okay, so when we talk about painful cramps, why does this occur? It's basically due to a buildup of these compounds called prostaglandins. And so we have inflammatory ones and anti-inflammatory ones. So the pain is due to an increase in inflammatory prostaglandins. And you might probably have low levels of the anti-inflammatory prostaglandins. So it's kind of a balance. If you think about the scale, you have more inflammation and lower anti-inflammatory, and that is what causes the painful cramps. If you have any experiences with painful cramps, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. Another reason why we have primary dysmenorrhea is due to elevated estrogen levels. So when we have a lot of estrogen buildup, the primary role of estrogen is actually to thicken your endometrium lining, so your lining in your uterus, right? Because estrogen is priming your body to get pregnant. Progesterone is the hormone that actually maintains the lining so that implantation can happen. So when you have a lot of estrogen, a lot of the lining is being built up. That creates a really thick lining, and if you think about it, if it's really thick, the lining will require harder contractions to actually shed during your period. So if you have painful cramps, chances are you have high inflammation and high estrogen levels. So that is the basis of painful cramps, and that is also the basis of PMS. And if you joined late, I did talk about PMS, so go back and watch the replay. So now I will move on to solutions. And there's a lot of solutions out there. A lot of it is conventional drugs. And if you use, painkillers on a regular basis, know that in the long term, this will have an effect on your gut lining. And that's not what you want, because that can pave the way to not digesting your foods very well, not absorbing nutrients very well. And so we really want to have a healthy gut and not have painkillers in our automatic medical toolbox. So some lifestyle solutions, I will go ahead with painful cramps first. So some of the lifestyle solutions here, we want to reduce estrogen, right? And we want to increase anti-inflammatory compounds. So that would first of all be eating more plants, eating more vegetables in order to boost the fiber but also nourish your gut. If you have omega-3 supplements, that's amazing. But if you can add fatty fish into your diet, that's even better, because the omega-3s is actually very anti-inflammatory, and it can actually help to reduce the amount of inflammation in your body. We want to, of course, prioritize downtime, so sleep, making sure you're getting enough sleep, self-care, whatever that means to you. So for me, sometimes when I get painful cramps, I actually take a warm bath and I make myself some lemon ginger honey, and that's amazing. I don't take any painkillers. That is my natural painkiller. And after drinking it and kind of sitting in the bath for 45 minutes, my cramps are gone. And this has happened month after month, or every other month whenever I have cramps. My husband can be a witness to that. So the next time if you have cramps, don't reach for the painkillers yet. Try out some of these natural herbs like ginger, for example, or lemon. If you want, you can also, use heat. If you don't have a hot bath, like you don't have a bathtub, for example, you can use like a heating pad, which is very common. Like a lot of people know how to use that. Another thing is we want to work on gentle movement, so like gentle yoga, not anything crazy, because right now your body is actually going through a really, really big process, and it is, shedding like your uterine lining. So you really want to just do some gentle self massages in your abdomen. You can do some gentle yoga, go for some long walks. Like this is perfect for just getting your body moving. So all of these movements are really great for detoxification as well. When we talk about elevated estrogen, estrogens have to be broken down, and in order to do that, it needs, first of all, fibers from your vegetables, but it also needs movement. So that's why gentle yoga or long walks during your periods, even if you have cramps, might be actually really helpful. Another thing we want to look at is the diet. So we talked about fatty fish and plants, and obviously we want to also avoid processed sugars, alcohol, smoking, all that kind of things, because all of these are sources of toxins. So when we talk about painful cramps, right, we want to reduce estrogen, we want to reduce the amount of toxins that your body is bringing on. We want to give the liver a good break, and eating those foods like detoxification foods like cruciferous vegetables, and avoiding processed sugars and dairy or smoking alcohol, like those can go a long way, especially to help painful cramps. So I'm going to take a pause now. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. Someone actually asked me, like, what about like magnesium? And so magnesium is actually great. So magnesium is a mineral that we need in our body for like 300 over reactions, and magnesium helps us to relax. So another way that I use my hot bath is I actually put in magnesium Epsom salts, and that way I can absorb magnesium through my skin, and that actually really helps with the cramps as well. Another thing in terms of detoxification would be dry brushing. And dry brushing is actually like a practice that's used in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries now. And it's basically, brushing according up your arms, up to your armpits. And that is where all the majority of your lymph nodes are. And so when we do that, we're actually helping to move the waste in the lymphatic system and out of the body. And that's actually really helps too. So the last piece here would be to have constipation issues addressed, especially if you're constipated, because when you're detoxifying, you want the toxins to get out of your body, and that is mainly through stool, your poop. If you don't have a bowel movement daily, then that is not going to help you because the toxins will be recirculated in your body, and then you will not get rid of excess estrogen in your body. So those are some lifestyle tips for painful cramps. If you want to look at PMS, it's very similar. We want to avoid dairy, gluten, processed sugars, opting for plants and fatty fish. One thing I want to say is you want to actually include iron-rich foods like liver or red meat. So this is one way where you can actually build up your iron stores right before you have your period. Sometimes when we have painful periods, heavy periods come along for the ride, right? Like you have pain, but then you also have like heavy flow, and that is like not fun at all. So one of the main things that we want to help the body, especially during period, right before it, have some red meat, have some liver, so that you actually have some iron built up in your body, and that can also give you energy, because I know fatigue is a really, really big symptom during your period. Lastly, you want to avoid caffeine in order to improve your PMS. I know this might not be a popular one, but yes, unfortunately that is the case. And also you want to have some adaptogens in your diet, so like having herbal teas. Adaptogens are like ashwagandha or reishi. Those are really calming herbs that can actually kind of help your body kind of relax a little more. So I hope you notice that the main focus is actually increasing detox, making sure you're moving, you're having bowel movements, having more omega-3s in your diet, but also having more fiber, more plants. Those can help with detoxification of estrogen as well.